I'm Stewart Wallace. I'm a director in our risk analytics team working for EY in the UK. So I'm someone who's been specialising in risk analytics, particularly end-to-end process analytics on big ERP systems like SAP and Oracle for about the last 10 years. So at the moment I run a team of around about 35 people specialising in end-to-end process analytics. We work across multiple sectors. We have oil and gas, pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, advertising. It allows us to see a broad range of different clients. And we also work across a range of different processes, some external audit, internal audit, business consulting, end-to-end process improvement, finance transformations. Working out what is that end-to-end journey, we tend to look at it from a risk and control perspective, as well as what are some of those hard KPI metrics and monitoring. The challenge, of course, when you're doing that is understanding exactly what is the sequence of all of those events. How do we actually understand all of the different rework that might be happening? How do we understand the efficiency that happens in the process? That's always been a big challenge because of the amount of data you have to deal with, the amount of events that can happen in that end-to-end process. So in the past, we've ended up simplifying a lot of those processes to make it fit into the key risks and controls or key metrics that we want to report on. So you're not quite getting the full picture. And so that's why, over this, as the big data revolution has started to happen, processing power is starting to get better, starting to evolve that and be able to see more and more and more of that process. So the end goal for us is, it depends on the nature of the project. If it's external audit, we're very much interested in what is that risk to the organisation? What is the risk of a material misstatement? What is the risk that something somewhere has gone wrong in the process? Someone's approved something they haven't done, they've exceeded their purchasing limits, they've maverick buying, I hear quite a lot, retrospective purchasing. How do we identify where that has happened and what impact could that then have in the financial statements? So how do we feed that through? I mean, for us, because these clients are getting bigger, then there's an immense challenge. There's so much data now in an organisation. We have to work more efficiently, more effectively. We need to use data as part of that end-to-end journey to make our life more efficient, to make the quality of our audit much more effectively, to be able to quantify that risk. But it's not enough now, and so typical controls testing, typical KPI monitoring, say, right, has something gone wrong? You now can say, well, how many times has it gone wrong? What was the root cause? Why did it go wrong? And that's the important question. It's not so much to say something has gone wrong, it's why did it go wrong? And that's where really getting into the depths of that process really helps us answer that question. Because A, we understand truly what the risk is, but we also then understand how we can fix it, how we can help our clients solve those problems. And so, my team specialise in doing that, working with clients, building that data picture, building the visualizations, helping tell the story, quantify the risk, and then work with them to help resolve it. Well, as I mentioned before, we've done process analytics for about 10 years before we even started doing any of the process mining. So we see this as an evolution rather than a revolution in some of the things we've been trying to do. But it opens up quite a lot of new opportunities for us. By that dynamic ability to see the flow of the transaction, the sequence of events that's happened, it allows us to understand that efficiency in the process. So rather than being restricted to some key metrics, so did an invoice happen before a purchase order was raised? That's a relatively easy metric to simply go and do. But to then start understanding, right, how many times did a purchase order have to go for approval? How many times did it have to get changed? How long did that take? How many times did it go around this cycle, and what's the effectiveness of that process? That's a much more difficult question to answer with standard analytics. And this is where process mining and the capability of ProcessAnalyzer is really giving us that step change in capability. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think there's two major components that we really use is the process mapping functionality that we use for the discovery phase. So understanding what's happening in a process, understanding that flow of events through the life cycle of a transaction. And the other one is then combining that with the conformance analysis. So mapping out that to-be process. So where do we want to get to? We build in a degree of optionality into that because we realize certain processes differ. And so taking the process mapping, the discovery element, and the conformance analysis, you can start to build a picture of what's currently happening, how much of our current process is operating as we intend it to be, and then start to identify, right, what are those process flows that happen most commonly that are not what we want to happen. So immediately it's giving us areas to go and target as to say, should that be happening? Do we want that to be happening? And what should we be going to do about it? It's been great, actually. Working with you guys, very friendly, very approachable, always willing to help. I've been really pleased, actually, just with how easy it is to work with you. And to me, that's really important. I want to feel that we are partners. I want to feel that it's a collaboration. We are partners, and I have my own client base, and I feel that you're there to support me. And that's really important because I need to be able to serve my clients effectively. So anytime I've had challenges, I've been very quick to respond, bring the whole team to help support and resolve my issues so that I can help serve my clients. And that makes my life easier to know I can rely on you to do that and to do it with a smile on my face as well. It's easy, and that's the most important thing. Dare to improve.